Johnson heads to the pocket. Layup. Johnson, good.
All right, welcome everybody. It's Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. Another edition. Marty is in the house. Also, Jonathan in the house. It's seen 5 times a week here on Pelican Sports TV, which is on Cox Cable. Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., Fridays at 9 p.m., and Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. And the show you can reach 2 million households, which is pretty unbelievable. 89% of the New Orleans metro still has Cox Cable, and Baton Rouge has about 370,000, and Lafayette about 140, so that's pretty impressive. So good to have you here. Great sponsors like TJ Ribbs, attorney Tony Clayton as well, and we'll talk sports. Got lots to talk about this week. First of all, let me tell you, you're going to see a lot of mock drafts. You've been seeing that over the last few days. Don't pay attention to them. Mock drafts are absolutely a waste. That's about as crazy, and it's even crazier than the recruiting for college. Because recruiting for college, these kids can commit verbally, and then when it comes time to sign the paper, they're going somewhere else at the last minute. I mean, we've seen that this year with our quarterback that went to Michigan. And so the draft is almost the same thing. Coaches will tell their sports information directing department, we want you to go ahead and leak this story out, that we're interested in this player. We're interested in going quarterback here. We're interested in doing this here. We're interested in a particular player. Looks like, this player's going here. Or Sean Payton could come out and say he thinks the best talent is in the mid to later rounds. Now, is that true, or is it that he's just saying that to throw all the other teams off? It's a game. General managers and coaches do it. Both of them do it. So don't believe all the mock draft and the so-called experts that they're saying when it comes to this whole NFL draft, which starts this week. The Saints don't even know who they're going to pick right now. They have an idea, and it looks like they're going to go for the best player available at number 9. So the good news is they have taken out Shedeur Sanders. They're not going with Shedeur Sanders. There's not a good quarterback on here. In fact, if I'm even thinking about it, Tennessee, I don't even know if I'd draft Cam Ward. I almost look to trade. I almost would not mind a trade somewhere because of the fact now they need a quarterback, but Cam Ward is not a Jaden Daniels. There's not a quarterback in here that's a Jaden Daniels at all. So, I mean, this probably is not a very good draft. It's not a deep draft, not only just quarterback-wise, but all throughout. It seems to be lower. It seems like more teams are going to really put their teeth into it when they go middle of the draft or into the draft. So this could be one of the things that, you have to look at. And so everybody wants to see. Duncan from the Picayune, the New Orleans Advocate, says he thinks the Saints are going to trade that pick. Don't be surprised if the Saints trade that pick. I don't think they will. Again, I mean, I know we need good offensive defensive lines, and that's what I'd go with. That's what I would go with this. I either go for a good defensive tackle or a good offensive guard or even an offensive tackle, a right tackle, because Penning, we all know, is not that guy. He's had an opportunity to blend in, get acclimated to the National Football League, and he hasn't done it. For as big a guy as he is, he gets schooled every day of the week and twice on Sunday. 4 times on Sunday, really, because that guy is really not good. Mike Detillier is probably the best guy that I've seen, and I haven't followed him in the last couple of years, but he's probably the best guy when it comes to mock draft because he's a good player personnel, talent evaluator. Since he's got his show, just a couple of things he said that kind of takes his credibility away that I wish he wouldn't say. Like, believe it or not, he said that he thinks New Orleans has more LSU fans than Saints fans in the city of New Orleans. Jonathan, what is your take on that? There's no way that's the case, right?
No, Chris, and truly, I agree with you that this is not a very deep quarterback position in the draft. And I have to, now that we have a week to digest this whole Derek Carr story, it just seems to me, it seems more and more obvious that the Saints were not going to leak that Derek Carr had a substantial arm injury, shoulder injury a week before the draft. This had to come from Derek Carr's camp. Was he that upset that they're looking for a quarterback in the future? Well, this kind of forces the Saints' hands into, seriously thinking about that number 9 spot at quarterback. if they're able to get Jackson Dart at 40, I guarantee that's what the Saints would prefer to do. Pick the best player available at number 9.
Right.
Shore up that front 7 on the defense. Just add the best player available at that 9 pick. That 9 pick is so valuable to franchises. I mean, it's on the top 10. You hope not to be picking higher next season because that meant you actually had a decent season, made the playoffs, made a run. But that's not going to be very realistic for the Saints. I mean, let's just be honest. Way more questions marks on this team than just a quarterback. But then, once you throw a possible rookie starting or Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler, this team might not win 5 games next season. And the Saints fans really have to be okay with that. Kellen Moore coming to a very toxic situation with a very old roster, kicking the can down the road, front office. The fans hating the starting quarterback and the general manager. Just a lot of turmoil right now in this organization. Kellen Moore kind of has to weather the storm before he starts to build his own foundation here down in New Orleans.
And not only that, it's not just the Saints, it's the Pelicans too. So right now, Gail Benson is under the microscope. And we'll talk about the Pelicans coming up here in the next segment, but they're under the microscope right now.
Yep.
Because her organization right now is really out of whack. It's not winning. Saints hadn't won in 4 years. The Pelicans, made the playoffs last year, but they were swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was embarrassing. All the games were embarrassing, and we should be where Oklahoma City is right now.
Right.
Because we were ahead in the draft when it come to that, and we had all those draft picks stocked, and we're not. We're absolutely horrible again. And we'll find out what we're going to pick with that. But, again, we'll talk about that coming up. Cam Ward, most people think that he's going to Tennessee. That's the quarterback for Miami Hurricanes. Tennessee needs a quarterback, but again, I don't know if he's a number one. I don't think he is. But again, they do need a quarterback. I think the best player in the draft is Travis Hunter. Most people think that Travis is going to Cleveland, that Cleveland won't pass him up. I think if I was a head coach, you're going to play DB because DBs are hard to find, and every now and then we're going to put you in the wide receiver package, like it or not. That's what's probably going to happen with him. If he's around in the 3rd pick of the draft, he's going to the Giants. Giants already talked about it. They'll play him both ways. So the only thing about Travis Hunter that I would be questioned about is his durability. How long is he going to last? Because with Dion playing him like he did, played the hell out of him at Colorado, his durability might not be long. He could be another Debo.
Yeah, and truly, I think Travis Hunter is like an anomaly. He's like a unicorn. What player have you known in the last 20 years to come out to play both sides of the ball, be effective on both sides? But I don't think he's the best cornerback in this draft, and I don't think he's the best wide receiver in this draft. But as the combo, he's a very dynamic player that you can stick anywhere on the field. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to have highs on the game. People want to watch him play. He's very dynamic as an athlete. But, he kind of threw a wrench in this whole draft. And then to have Shedeur Sanders, who's going to get his jersey retired on the same day as the Heisman Trophy winner. I agree. I just didn't see it on the field. The team went 13-12, didn't win a bowl game, didn't even compete for a conference championship. They're going to put the anointing oil on him already, but not taking a snap at the NFL, not very mobile. Has a good decision-making, good accuracy, but doesn't have a great arm. He does not push the ball down the sidelines like you want that prototypical young NFL quarterback to do so. I agree. If you love Jackson Dart as Kellen Moore, you hope to get him in the 2nd round. You don't want to reach and take Jackson Dart, who I think it was at best the 4th best rated quarterback in this draft. We'll see. Don't be surprised at all if the Saints come away with some D3 project edge rusher that never works out, because that's like typically what they do on draft night. But got to make some early successes in his first couple rounds for the draft, because the Saints have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I'm telling you this: if I was Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart, I would not be in New York for the draft.
Right.
Or it's going to be Green Bay. I wouldn't be there.
Green Bay, right.
I wouldn't be there. It'll be embarrassing. I'd be at home. Go home and be at home, and whenever you pick, the cameras will come on you. But I would not be in Green Bay. I would not. Every indication shows that Will Campbell is going to the New England Patriots. Now, what if Cam Ward is not picked number 1 at Tennessee? Will Will Campbell go up? I don't know, but Will Campbell all looks like he's going to the New England Patriots at the 4th pick. The University of Georgia linebacker Jalen Walker has been rumored to go to Jacksonville, or even the Saints are interested in him. And look, if we can get him, that'd be great at linebacker. Will he be available at number 9? I doubt it. Here's an interesting one, Jonathan. Running back Ashton Genty, Boise State, has already been linked to the Raiders. However, NFL scouts are saying his 5'8" frame and small frame may not be very good for the National Football League. And notice that when all season long he dominated in touchdowns and what have you in yardage. But when he came to Penn State, the bigger team, he got 104 yards in total rushing and 0 touchdowns. Now, again, you got to go as a whole team because we all know Boise State shouldn't have been there, and they'll be there again next year because there's no right now. They're meeting this week in Dallas, by the way, the College Football Playoff Committee. But right now, there's no change in the college playoff scheme in the setup. So with that being said, you'll probably see Boise State again there next year, and we all know they don't belong there. They just don't. And it just night and day. Even people, Kirk Herbstreit was watching them on the field, and he said you could see that they were just being pushed around like a rag doll. Yep. They don't deserve to be there. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see what Ashton Jeanty does if he goes to the Raiders. A lot of people are saying that he is linked to that spot, so we'll have to wait and see. Mike Detillier thinks we're going with a tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren. That's what he thinks we're going to do. Now, right now they've already signed a couple of free agent tight ends, so it sounds like Nussmeier and Moore are looking as a tight end to be a big key factor in their offense. So if he is available, there's a possibility that Tyler Warren could come to New Orleans, the tight end. So, again, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. How about the SEC has had 10 players drafted in the first round, 16 of the last 17 drafts. The only time they haven't was 2015.
Wow.
That's the only time. And how about this? Even go deeper. LSU has had 42 players in history drafted in the first round, and of that, 3 made it number 1 picks. Billy Cannon in 1960, Jamarcus Russell 2007, and Joe Burrow 2020. LSU has had 3 players drafted in the first round last year with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas. Daniels went number 2, Malik Neighbors went 6, and Thomas went number 23. LSU did not have a first-round player in 2023, 2018, and 2016. So that means, Jonathan, 7 out of the last 10 years, LSU has had a first-round draft pick at least come out.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, and, unbelievable.
Yeah, getting back to your Will Campbell situation, if New England doesn't pick him at 4 and he does slide to 9, now, I don't think that's going to be possible. If he does slide 9, Saints fans would be overwhelmed with joy to get Will Campbell.
Oh, my goodness.
They all got to see the product not only on the field but in the weight room, in the locker room. He has the makeup to be a long-time NFL veteran.
Yes.
He's going to be a first-round pick. Would love to see Will Campbell fall to number 9, although I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, me neither. I would be absolutely that. I wouldn't say that's getting Reggie Bush or Ricky Williams. But, man, are you kidding me? That would be absolutely unbelievable if we got that. By the way, the NFL draft is this Thursday, April 24th through Saturday the 26th. It's from Green Bay. What they're doing, will you ever see it coming to New Orleans? Probably not. They're trying to give cities that don't get Super Bowls, they're giving the cities those draft parties. It was in Detroit last year, broke records. Green Bay is a very loyal fan base, very small area. That's the only thing about going to Green Bay. You gotta basically fly into Milwaukee and drive the rest of the way. There's nothing around actually the city of Green Bay. The city of Green Bay is smaller than Hammond, probably. I think it is smaller than Hammond, Louisiana. So it's a very small little city. And in today's standards, if they were awarding, teams, franchises, Green Bay would not even be considered as a franchise deal. Not even close. Oklahoma City would be way ahead of them. But anyway, so the NFL draft is this weekend. Again, the 24th through the 26th, again, live from Green Bay. I don't know. Have you heard they're going to do it from Lambeau Field or somewhere else? I don't even know.
No, I have not heard. But I know they're going to have a huge setup with some stage somewhere. I know Detroit did a great job last year. It was really a festive thing. Events all around the actual stage. So I'm looking for Green Bay to do something similar.
Right. NFL schedules released on May 14th or 15th, somewhere in that time frame. The Saints will play home against Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa Bay, Arizona, San Francisco, New England, the Jets, and the New York Giants. If I'm not mistaken, the last time that the Patriots were here were in the year they won the Super Bowl, maybe, because we've been going to New England lately.
Yeah, I don't remember another time that they came, but I know when they did come to the Dome, they got their tails
whipped. We killed them.
Oh,
remember Falk caught that ball and he got smoked by
Darren
somebody.
Sharper. Yeah, Darren Sharper smoked him.
And I mean, just knocked in the next year.
Yeah.
And that's when you could see Tom Brady and Coach were put on the sideline and they were mic'd up and they said, we just don't have that team like they do. We're not that championship team like they are. Belichick and Tom Brady were talking. We will travel to Atlanta, of course, Carolina, Tampa Bay. We're going to Buffalo. Oh, hopefully it's not late. We're going also to Chicago again. We're going to the Rams again. Jeez, it seems like we always go to this year they came to us. So at least we're going to the Rams. We're also going to play in Miami. We're going to Seattle, and we're going to Tennessee on the road. So that's 8 games at home, 9 games on the road. Do not know if any one of them will be usually they announce it earlier which ones will be overseas. None of them at this point have been announced that they will be overseas. So that's the way that will come. Again, that'll be May 14th or 15th. That's when the NFL schedule will come out. So that's not much longer from now, a little less than a month from now that the schedules will be coming out. Even the preseason schedules usually are announced a lot early, but not in the last few years. They're not been. They'll be announced pretty much either right at that time, May 14th or 15th, or right after that. The Saints will announce their preseason schedules. And lately, the last couple of years, they've only had 1 preseason game at home, 2 on the road. Yep. I don't know if that'll be the same. And they will be. If I was coach, I would probably take the team out of New Orleans. I would bring them somewhere else where it is. But again, the only problem is your fans can't watch you. But it is so hot, and you don't have to compete in hot weather. You don't. I mean, you're playing in the dome, and when you go on the road, you're not even playing in that warmer weather, constantly. So if I was a head coach or general manager, I would have my training somewhere else, because I've been told by Jim Mora, I've been told by a lot of coaches, when you play in that heat in New Orleans, the hottest time of the year, that you are going, I'm telling you, man, you're going to be so drained, it's not even funny. Jim Moore told me, what was it, 3 years ago? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, time flies so fast. He told me and a couple of guys, we were talking about him because I used to cover Jim Moore when he was with the Saints. And he says the biggest regret he ever had was putting too much emphasis on training camp. And he wore his team out as the year goes on. That's why he thinks he never won a playoff game.
Playoffs?
Yeah, that's right. And he did that too in Indianapolis because that's Marine in him. That's the Marine in him. So, again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But also, hopefully, LSU probably just 1 pick in the draft. One pick in the first round, and that'll be Will Campbell, and probably will be the highest SEC player going as well. Some people are saying that they may not get 10 players. SEC may not get the 10 players. I think they will. I think they'll get over 10 players in the first round of the draft, because remember, now you have 16 teams. You have Texas and Texas A&M and all of them. So I think there'll be more than 10 players in the first round of the draft from the SEC. All right, when we come back, we're talking about Joe Dumars coming into New Orleans and taking on the job of the Pelicans. Will he succeed? We'll talk about that when we come back. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan. Marty's in the house back after this time out right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs, because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we continue with Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan's in the house. Marty's in the house. Just came out from The Athletic. Which NBA teams are held the highest regard? Number one is Golden State at 21.9%. Oklahoma City Thunder at 17.5%. Boston Celtics at 15.3%. The last place teams, Dallas, Indiana, Memphis, Minnesota, Orlando, and Phoenix, all at 1.5%. Not even listed on here. Or the New Orleans Pelicans, and I wouldn't list them on there as well. And the reason is because of the fact they've just been an absolute dumpster fire since they've come to New Orleans. A few times they've done okay, but it's not been anything great. Joe Dumars is now coming in. He was a very good player, very good executive, was with the Detroit Pistons, and then was now currently with the NBA. Now he signs with New Orleans Pelicans to turn this around. And this was rumored back even before they hired David Griffin in 2019 that he was going to do this, that he's going to come to New Orleans, but it didn't happen. Maybe it was some wishful thinking or what have you. Some say that David Griffin, the problem with him was this training staff that he picked out just couldn't get the players healthy enough. But that's been the MO for New Orleans for years. Baron Davis between 02 and 05 was always hurt. Anthony Davis between 12 and 19 was always hurt. DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, I can keep going on. The current team that we currently have. They just can't stay healthy for some reason. Are they jinx? I don't know. Is it something? I don't know. But it's just we can't keep healthy players in for the Pelicans or for the Hornets when they were named the Hornets. It just doesn't happen. Can Joe Dumars turn this player around? As a player, he was a two-time NBA champion, six-time All-Star, and he was a Finals MVP, by the way, and a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame in 06. Now, before he was a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame in 06, as the general manager of the Pistons, they won the 2004 NBA championship. It was Executive of the Year that year. 2003-04, he was Executive of the Year. He helped the team grow $120 million in revenues. He's going to be the Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Pelicans, just exactly what David Griffin was. Now, he won't be the general manager. The general manager will continue to be Bryson Graham, who is in high regard in the NBA. A lot of people like him and think that he's a very bright future ahead of him. Same thing with head coach Willie Green. I think Willie's got one more year to turn this around. His record is 148 and 180. That's 45% winning percentage. I can't get it done. And look, Monty Williams was a very nice guy and lovable guy. Same thing with Willie Green. But if you can't win, you got to be able to win. You're not going to get – people say it's a football town. I agree. Okay, we like football more than anything. I know. But if you build a winner, that arena will be filled up. There's no question about it. You build it, they will come, like the old saying says. They will come. So what he did was he grew the Detroit Pistons to $120 million extra in revenue. And he needs to do that here in New Orleans big time. Problem is, will he be able to do it? Now, the economy was very tough in Detroit. We all know that. Will he be able to do it here in New Orleans? But if I'm him, I do New Orleans, Baton Rouge, also the Gulf Coast. All of Mississippi, as much as you can get, and all of Alabama and into the panhandle of Florida. Get as much as you can because there's not another basketball team in that area. Okay, the Saints dominated all that Gulf Coast for a long time, all the way up to Jacksonville until Jacksonville got a football team, an NFL football team. So with that being said, they got an opportunity to get all of that Gulf Coast there too, and I would definitely reach out to that with businesses in that area and make it to where people love that. So first thing is going to ask is Zion Williamson. Is he going to be traded or not? You could probably maybe get some first rounds. I don't know. The guy's only played 45% of his NBA games since he's been drafted. 45%. That's horrible. That's probably the worst I've ever seen. Dumars right now seems to think that he likes this roster. And now the May 12th is the lottery show, and the NBA draft is the 25th through 26th of June. They get 2 first-round draft picks this year. And that comes from the Bucks and Holiday, and of course their own Pelicans' own first draft pick. They finished the 4th worst record in the NBA, so they're going to be up there for that high lottery pick. They could get it again. They've had it 2 times. They won number 1 picks. Could it be 3? Don't know. We'll see. But they get 2 first-round draft picks, and this is from the Drew Holiday trade they got a couple of years ago. They still get that number 1 pick, that first-round pick from the Bucks. Next year, they get the 26th first-round pick from Toronto, so they'll have 2 first-round picks next year as well, and could be 3. They got a conditional pick also from the Lakers, depending on where the Lakers fall. Don't look very good right now because the Lakers are in the playoffs. They could be exiting the first round, but we'll see. So he likes what he's getting, with this team right now, the roster. Jonathan, your thoughts? Joe Dumars, I mean, great player from Louisiana. He's so happy he's got the job in New Orleans. He played his first AAU basketball tournament team in New Orleans, and he's a huge Saints fan. This is an opportunity for him to be back home in Louisiana, and especially in the city that he loves in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, obviously on paper it seems like a great fit. I mean, an NBA executive that has tons of experience. He was executive of the year for a championship basketball team in Detroit, like you mentioned. Executive vice president of the NBA and basketball operations all until this season. So the guy knows the game, no doubt. Proven winner on the court, knows what he's doing as an executive. The only problem was David Griffin also had an impeccable track record as an executive. I mean, what he did in Cleveland to bring them a championship, and he had LeBron James, was one of the best players in basketball. But regardless, he did a fantastic job in Cleveland. It just seems like ever since the Pelicans almost moved, and the NBA took the team, and Chris Paul was going to be traded to the Lakers, but then they didn't approve that trade, so the NBA traded him to the Clippers while the Pelicans kind of looked for a new owner. I feel like that was truly the turning point for the franchise in New Orleans. I was in the Smoothie King Center when that Pelicans team at the time, it was the Hornets, led by Chris Paul, Peja Stojakovic, Tyson Chandler. They all went against Dallas and San Antonio in the playoffs and went 7 games and got bounced out in the third round. But that dome was packed. I mean, that arena was absolutely packed. It was a good time. Fans were enjoying it, screaming. They were rabid. They were at every game early to tailgate and the whole deal.
Right.
And then they lost the owner, and the team might not be here. And now we get Anthony Davis. He can't stay healthy. Okay, we're back in the lottery. Trade Anthony Davis. Get Zion Williamson. These are supposed to be generational talents that we're going to bring the New Orleans Pelicans to the promised land, make them a legitimate franchise in the NBA. It just never worked out. I really do hope that Joe Dumars is able to turn it around. Like you said, from Louisiana, lots of ties to the state, loves the Saints, understands the culture and the people, wants the team to resemble the culture, tough, hard-nosed, hard-working people that are resilient. I hope it all works out, but we've seen this story before. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick. It'd be the third time since the Pelicans that I've been watching had the first overall pick. So, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the fresh change, but I was excited, like I said, about David Griffin. I really like Willie Green, but I also like Monty Williams. I mean, the guy went to my church, great family man, went through tragedy, went through adversity, stuck around the city, was very loyal to the people. So, obviously I hope the Pelicans can turn it around, become a winning franchise. But gotta get some players on the court. Can't be injured every week, like you already mentioned. You go to the game and you're seeing the 3rd and 4th string players that are signed on 10-day contracts. That's not fun for anybody. The team's getting blown out. Unless they're playing somebody that you really want to see, like a Joker or a LeBron, there's no reason to go to the game. The Pelicans had no chance. Halfway through the season, knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. That midseason tournament, they were irrelevant in that. So it's just been really tough for basketball fans in New Orleans to find something to root for, and hopefully Joe Dumars can turn it around.
Yeah, no question about that. Again, and what was it, 3-4 years ago when we played the Suns?
Yep.
A friend of mine who's a big Laker fan said that he went to the game, and he's been to NBA cities all over, and he said that game or that series at home at New Orleans was the most exciting thing he's ever done. He said it was so loud in that. It was so much fun in the Smoothie King Arena. It was unbelievable.
Yep.
And so they will come and they'll be excited. They'll fill it up, but you got to have a winning product. People are not going to waste their time. Shockingly, I believe the Saints still have a waiting list to get on a season ticket.
Right.
So that's shocking to me. The LSU doesn't anymore. LSU used to have a waiting list. They don't anymore because why? Because they're promoting in big time season ticket sales. If you're promoting season ticket sales, that means you don't have a list anymore. The Saints are not doing that. The Saints are not promoting that, hey, if you want to add on the season ticket list, you want to get a season ticket, call now. They're not doing that. I have several friends of mine that don't have season tickets anymore. You said you've given yours away for a long time as well. So all in all, I think that, if you have a good product, and right now, as we mentioned earlier in the last segment, the magnifying glass is on Gail Benson and her team. She better do something now or sell the team and sell both franchises, because right now the Saints ain't doing well. They're 4 years out of the playoffs, maybe even 5 like you mentioned this year. It doesn't look good. Also, the Pelicans are so much a bust, you don't know what they're going to do. They continue to have injuries. And then the NBA, we all know the NBA is the worst as far as players don't want to play. I'm just not going to play. That's not the old days of Jordan and Bird. They played every game. Every game. You would never see Bird and Jordan take off just to take off. They played every single basketball game. Magic Johnson, the list goes on. Charles Barkley. When they'd get injured, it'd be very small time. Today's NBA is horrible, and I think that it's going on to other sports. You see more pro players now doing that. Back in the day, and I know because of safety measures, but back in the day, Tony Dorsett played with concussions. They didn't care. They're playing. They're getting on that football field. They don't care. Don't take my shoe off, Doc. I'm getting back in the game. If I got a sprained ankle, you ain't going to be able to put my shoe back on.
Ronnie Lott cut off his finger at halftime.
That's it. I'm going back in the game. But nowadays, it's not like that. And I hope that it don't get that way with baseball. But right now, for basketball and football, especially NBA basketball, why in the world would I want to pay a full price ticket when my star is not going to be there half the time?
Right.
No, it ain't going to happen. I'm not doing it. Now, and like I said, if you've never gone to a Pelican game before, you're missing out. It's fun. They make it fun during half times, fun during timeouts and everything. It's fun. It's a fun game, but it makes it even better when you're winning, and you got to be able to do that, no question about that. Speaking of winning, LSU takes 2 out of 3 this weekend against Alabama, but boy, they got a doozy this weekend. We'll talk about that when we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan in the house as well, back after this timeout right here on Pelican Sports TV.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And back to the draft, too. I forgot to say this. I forgot to put that in my notes. I saw this earlier this morning. How crazy is this? The last time the Saints drafted a quarterback in the first round was the only time they drafted a quarterback in the first round.
Yep.
And you know that. 1971. If they don't do it this year, that's 54 years. And, Jonathan, that's the longest streak in the National Football League.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't think that this crop of quarterbacks is
No.
worthy of breaking that tradition. Just
No.
being completely honest.
No, not at all. Not at all. So that's absolutely absurd. I just got that text to me, but I did see that this morning, and I forgot to bring that to the attention before I got out of that segment. But anyway, that's absolutely crazy. The most important position in all of football, quarterback. Archie Manning, the only Saint to be able to draft it in the first round.
And I'll say this too, Chris. Nobody considered Bo Nix to be, a surefire first-round pick that was going to carry the Broncos back to the promised land. But the Broncos are already back. They're the playoff contender already. Year 2 under Sean Payton, and he has them rolling already. Nobody wants to go to Denver and play the Broncos. And Bo Nix, everybody had him way lower on the board. So maybe we're all wrong about Jackson Dart. Maybe Kellen Moore really sees what he likes and knows what he wants, and hopefully he's there at 40, or the Saints can trade up in that second round to get him. But got to pick best overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. Like you and I've talked about before, we could have the Aaron Rodgers, the continue to go on and on. We could talk about quarterbacks. Tom Brady, nobody wanted him. He almost didn't get drafted.
Yep.
You don't know what they're going to do when they get to that next level. It could be the team that they're around, whatever, that they just don't have it to where they can win. But then they get on a team that's their last piece that you need.
Yep.
And you win. And I had a lot of people telling me about Bo Nix, and when he wasn't a good player. I had a lot of my friends telling me that. I said, what are you seeing? I mean, I'm not saying he's Drew Brees or Joe Montana or what have you, but that Auburn game when he came to Tiger Stadium.
Oh, Superman.
I mean, he was unbelievable. He single-handedly beat him.
Yep.
And then when he gets to Oregon, he just came short of that going to the national championship game. They couldn't get past who they couldn't get past in the Pac-12. It's been a couple of years ago now, but anyway, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. You just don't know what player is going to evaluate. I mean, just jump up and their talent in the National Football League. You just don't know. I mean, some teams you do. Like Jaden Daniels, we knew would be good. We're hoping he continues to be good this year because sometimes it's a sophomore slump. You got to be careful about that.
Yep.
But we knew Joe Burrow would be good. Joe Burrow hadn't dropped off. The only problem is they have a worse problem than the Saints. They don't have a good offensive line. They never had since Burrow's been there. He's been sacked the most quarterbacks since he's gotten in the NFL. He's got since 2020 he was drafted. He's been sacked more times than any other NFL quarterback, and he won the Comeback Player of the Year. It's the second time he's been nominated for that. So it's crazy. But again, if I'm the Saints and I go at number 9, and I better see if I don't see a very good dominant like a Will Campbell at offensive line, I have to go with that. I have Penning as a backup. They need a right tackle. They got a left tackle they drafted last year. I want to go for a right tackle to get it solidified, and I also need another guard. You need a right guard too. So I don't know. That's the thing I'm looking at, or a left guard. You need a left guard. That's what I'm looking at right now. All right, so going back to LSU college baseball, they took 2 out of 3 against Alabama this past weekend. The Tigers are tied for 3rd with guess who? Tennessee. Tennessee Volunteers are at 12-6. LSU's at 12-6, and the two meet this weekend at Alex Box Stadium. If you don't have a ticket, you ain't getting one. You better watch it on TV like all of us because you ain't getting a ticket to that game. That's absolutely unbelievable. How about that, Jonathan? The 2 last national champions will be playing head-to-head this weekend at Alex Box Stadium. LSU is number 4. Tennessee is at number 5. LSU is 6-4 versus Tennessee in the last 10 matchups. Coach Vitello is 7-7 versus LSU since he began in 2018. LSU's overall record versus Tennessee, 63-29. 63-29. Game 1 is at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. It'll be on the SEC Plus network. That's a stream. Game 2 will be Saturday at 7 o'clock on ESPNU, and Game 3 will be on Sunday at 2 p.m. on the SEC network. Tennessee just lost their weekend series with Kentucky. After winning Game 1, they lost Games 2 and 3. Ought to be interesting. LSU is second in the SEC in batting average with a .318 average. Tennessee is right behind them at .305, but flip when it comes to pitching. LSU is third with a 3.62 ERA, while Tennessee is second with a 3.20 ERA. Jonathan, this is going to be a big matchup with LSU and Tennessee this weekend right here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, all eyes in college baseball will be on Baton Rouge this weekend. Of course, Tony Vitello, lots of fire. Will have his team fired up to come into Alex Box. They enjoy playing at Baton Rouge, just like all the SEC teams do. It's a minor league stadium. It gets packed. The fans are rowdy. It's a great atmosphere. And, right in the thick of things, trying to get the top 4 spots in the SEC. That all eyes need to be on Game 2. Cade Anderson has been a dominant Friday night starter for LSU. I believe LSU will take that first game with Cade Anderson's performance from the left. But Anthony Ianson had his best outing this past weekend. Absolutely 8 innings, was effective with all 4 of his pitches, threw strikes. Kate Arambidi, who's going to be a phenomenal catcher for LSU in the future. He can really swing the bat very well. True freshman. Struggled with pass balls early in the season, but he's starting to figure it out. In fact, last weekend on Saturday, he caught for Ianson, and did an exceptional job blocking the baseball. So, yeah, infield's working well. Monster Mom, phenomenal job at shortstop. Jake Brown, don't call him not an everyday player because he's phenomenal for LSU. Played outfield, infield, comes in, pitch hits, hits a home run, also has a double. Filled with Major League talent, MLB talent, and just got to throw more strikes. Got to execute the pitches. Can't walk people, get them on base because Tennessee will make you pay. They hit the ball up and down the lineup. Love to set the table for those RBI guys right in the middle. So got to execute pitches, got to score runs. Probably going to have to score runs a couple different ways because Tennessee is no slouch on the mound.
No.
They have some dominant pitching. So
Yeah.
LSU, very talented. Going to have to find ways to score some runs. I think being at home is a huge advantage for LSU in this series, and I think the Tigers are going to take it.
Yeah, LSU has won 2 out of 3 last time they played here at Alex Box Stadium. They won the first 2 games, and Tennessee ended up winning the 3rd game. LSU's going to have to contend with Gavin Killen. He's their designated hitter. He can play shortstop or second base. He's a transfer from Louisville. He leads the SEC in batting with a .404 batting average. This guy is the real deal. You better look out for him. And he scored 37 runs this year, 40 hits, 11 homers. He's 29th best batter in the nation. So he has a .404 batting average. So look out for him. Again, if you don't have a ticket for this game, good luck. In 2023, when LSU took 2 out of 3 from them, they had the largest attendance of the season with 13,068 fans. That's a lot from Alex Box Stadium. Are you going to watch it or go into the game, Jonathan?
Oh, hey, Chris, sorry about that, buddy. We said the boss man himself, the kingpin, Alan Traylor, just strolled into my office. Forgive me. Yeah, we in here chatting along. I'll zone in from here on, Chris.
So you're watching it on TV?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, be watching it on TV. I'll be glued to television. We have a tournament actually in Zachary, Louisiana for my Jesters Little League team. So I'm going to catch it on TV from the hotel, hopefully. Got a young daughter. She doesn't like traveling in the car. So hopefully stay somewhere in Zachary, catch the game Friday night, catch the game Saturday. And, hopefully we'll have 2 wins under our belt. Definitely watch it on TV.
I hope we can take 2 out of 3. There's no question about that because we're past the halfway mark now. Last weekend past the halfway mark when we played Alabama on that Friday, or Thursday rather. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. LSU's got to get into it. They got to start thinking about super regionals. They got to start thinking about this and that. Like I said, right now they're in the super regional talk. They're definitely in the super regional talk. They're number 4 in the nation. Again, that goes by your RPI. And as we get closer and closer, maybe starting next week, we'll start looking at RPI because that's big. Not where you're ranked, but your RPI. It goes by all the wins that you have, where your rankings are, and baseball and softball have the most rankings, period. They got several different polls that you can look at. It goes by all of that to find out where you're going to be. And if you finish in that top 8,
right,
you're going to host a super regional. And if you finish in the top 16, you're definitely going to host a first-round regional, and you'd be traveling for the second-round regional unless that team that you were matched up with in the super regional gets beat somewhere, and that happens. So ought to be very interesting. Again, that's going to be a great atmosphere this weekend. LSU and Tennessee. My goodness gracious. I'd love to be at the box. There's nothing like watching the game at the box. So the only problem is with a game like this, they pack it in so much, man, you're like this. And go get your peanuts and what have you. You can't hardly get back into your seat. Can't get up out of your seat. It's crazy. But that's going to be fun. There's no question about that. You know, you talked about your and this is something I've thought about a long time. You talk about how many kids you have playing baseball?
So I have a senior in high school. It's going to graduate May 19th. But then my middle son, 10-year-old, we do travel baseball, U-Trip, and then we'll be in a D2 tournament this weekend coming up in Baton Rouge.
I mean, see, now I played all my years, Dixie Youth and all that stuff, local in Alexandria. I lived in Alexandria at that time. And I could tell you this, if my dad had to pay what you guys pay now for your kids, I would have never played the game.
Yeah, no kidding. So, and not to mention the travel fees, the car, the wear and tear on the vehicle, your whole family's at the park, so you're not going to stay in the whole weekend. The tournament fees, the uniforms. But these baseball bats, Chris, have gotten out of control.
Yeah.
$300, $400 for a 9,
serious?
10-year-old. So at one time, when our team wasn't very good, we just started out. We had like $6,000 worth of bats. We had like 4 hits on the season.
What?
It was crazy. Yeah, no. The bats are out of control. They definitely make their money off of parents just trying to give the best for their young kid. Peer pressure is absolutely something. But then these kids are on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, and they see the bat bros swinging these $400 bats. They're hitting the ball 500 feet. And they're like, I could hit home runs if I had that bat. So the best advertising tool that Easton ever came out with was to have D1 Baseball, the organization that hosts tournaments, ban their Drop 5 Hype Fire, because then every kid wanted to get the bat that was too hot to be in D1 tournaments. Who knew how much money was in baseball equipment, apparel, and the whole deal for 9, 10, 11, 13-year-olds, but they're making money hand over fist.
That's crazy. I used to piss Dixie Youth off. I had a blue aluminum baseball bat, and every time I'd hit the ball, it'd leave a blue dot
On the ball.
on the ball every time. Every time they would pitch it, they're like, I hate this guy, but they couldn't tell me what bat I had.
Right.
Long as it's legal, I could use it. But I had a blue dot on that baseball almost all the time. All right, we'll come back. We're talking LSU gymnasts, softball, Southern baseball, and WrestleMania. All that coming up right here as we continue to talk sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house. Back after this time out right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golfing Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers. You can catch this on Cox Cable, seen in almost 2 million households. 89% of the Metro New Orleans still has Cox, 400,000, near 400,000 Baton Rouge, and 140,000 Lafayette. You can download it also on the app and YouTube. You can get it with there as well. And this show is seen 5 times a week. It's a perfect channel for you to advertise with, so you can contact us and advertise with us as well. All right, LSU gymnastics down to the worst performance of the year happened in the NCAA tournament, well, the semifinal round in Texas, in Fort Worth, Texas. Finished 5th in the nation, and absolutely heartbreaking. I watched it. I watched that on TV and had the LSU baseball game here on my iPad, watching them both, and I could not believe Bailey had a horrible time. I mean, she is perfect. She's going to be an Olympian, I believe.
Yep.
And she just couldn't get it straight. She couldn't get it going. None of them worked. The bars, the vault, the floor, everything was going right. Their best was the vault, and they won a national championship. One of their players won a national championship, Chia. But other than that, it was just absolutely horrible to see that, Jonathan. It was depressing to see that. I wish them the best. They have 10 senior athletes.
Yep.
10.
Yep.
And they have the 3rd recruiting class coming into the nation. However, only 3 players have signed, but they're very good gymnasts. So they're going to have to go to the transfer portal to get ready for next season to get more players in for next year. But Jay will do it. He's good. They have one of the best facilities in the country. They won the national championship last year. And the team that won the national title, Oklahoma, LSU beat them 2 out of 3 this year.
Yep.
2 out of 3.
And it was a historical season, Chris. They had a first in program history, number 1 seed.
Yep.
I think it was the 6th SEC championship title. Yeah, so regular season championship. Jay Clark, phenomenal job. Ever since he took over from Dede Brew, and nobody really even knew what was going to happen to the program. Dede Brew is such a legend. LSU gymnastics was in the top 5, each and every season. And no fall off at all. In fact, he wins the national championship in his first year as the head guy. Right there at the end, unfortunately, like you mentioned, just picked the wrong time to have an off meet, and it's just minor mistakes. These girls are so phenomenal that just a toe off the line or a bobble here or there on the landing, and it takes points off. So, yeah, phenomenal year. Congratulations, Coach, and those girls. You're right, though. Going to need to get some fresh blood in here at LSU Gymnastics just to keep the tradition going.
No question. I'm watching it on the last player for UCLA to be on the beam, which is the hardest competition, and when she nailed it, I knew it was over that time because they were only 700th of a point off.
Right.
And then, obviously, you could see the LSU players hugging and crying. They knew it was over as well.
Yep.
And it was done. LSU was done for the year. Again, they finished number 5 in the nation. LSU softball, watching the Saints, LSU softball. They're going to blow it at some point in time. Oh, my goodness. The Saints wrote an encyclopedia on how to blow games. LSU softball is getting close to that. This is a young softball team, and it's even younger next year because I didn't know this, Jonathan, but I didn't know if you knew this, but softball and like gymnastics, they're a year ahead.
Wow.
So LSU has already recruited for next season softball coming in, and they're the number 1 recruiting class in the country. So all these right here that are playing, they better get their stuff straight because I'll tell you this, they got number 1 players coming in next year, and it's going to be unbelievable. So with that being said, they should have swept Texas. I watched all 3 games. They should have swept them. But 2 of the 3 times, the game they won 6-1. But the game 1 and game 3, they had the game won.
Yep.
And they blew it, especially the last game was horrible. And you have Berzon, who is your number 1 pitcher, and she's got experience. Why did she hold on to the ball to throw it to first base? It would have been the 3rd out. She held on to the ball, and then when the first baseman, it was the second baseman who covered the bag, when she threw to home, she overthrew the play. Game over. Texas wins. In game 1, the first baseman made a mistake. It was a bunt. She went to pick the ball up, forgot to grab the ball. She tackled her with her glove, and I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
They're absolutely horrible. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But LSU is 9-9 in the SEC, 36-10 overall. They're going to make the tournament. All teams make the tournament, but they got just 2 series left.
Yep.
And we talked about already LSU and Tennessee coming this week. LSU and Florida is this week in softball.
Yeah.
So you better get to the game early if you're going to either game. You better get there early because of traffic. That's going to be a big one. University of Florida is number 8 in the nation. LSU is number 10.
Yep.
Plus, that's Beth's, of course, alma mater. So it's always a big matchup when University of Florida and LSU battle. But that's going to be this weekend at Tiger Park. So the campus is going to be buzzing this week. And Jonathan, we hear, is coming with his entourage to Zachary. You won't be able to get down I-10.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Chris, 9-9 now for the softball team. Unfortunately, baseball, softball is so tough. Margin of victory is truly razor thin. 1 mistake, 1 error in 1 inning, and you never really recover. The momentum changes the entire game. Unfortunately, there's also plays like at the very end where you walk off with an error. Look, this is a very basic lack of execution for LSU softball right now. Like you said, they're losing games they should win, and it doesn't get any easier. As you mentioned, Florida coming up next. So got to lock in, got to focus. Now's not the time to keep stumbling on building blocks.
Right.
Got to get moving towards the postseason. And Coach Beth Tarina, I'm not going to say she's on the hot seat, but the start this team had, and now as you got into SEC play, losing a lot of games that they should have won.
Right.
They got to make a run. They got to make a run deep. And hopefully Coach Karina can get them focused in. And this is a great litmus test for LSU. Look, Florida, as you mentioned, a great softball team. If they can handle business, take 2 out of 3, or even sweep, LSU's right there, feeling confident and looking towards the end of the season, looking towards postseason.
Yeah, unfortunately. I say unfortunately. I like Beth Tarina. And they're hitting like crazy right now.
Yep.
Better than what they did last year.
Yep.
But she just signed a new contract, so her buyout would be absolutely astronomical.
Right,
so she's
right.
going to be here for a while.
Yep.
They play Arkansas at Arkansas next week, and that's it. That's the end of the season for the SEC. Then they go May 6th through 10th in Athens for that. And then the first week, June is the College World Series over in Oklahoma. And just like I told a friend of mine who lives in Oklahoma, once Oklahoma gets to the SEC, it's going to be different. Well, last year Oklahoma wins the national championship, but they had to come from behind to do it. This year there was an article, can you imagine the city of Oklahoma City, hosting the World Series, may not have Oklahoma State or Oklahoma in it? There's a chance they might not make it. Oklahoma, I think, is third right now in the SEC, but it's not a given they're going to be there.
Right.
And hopefully LSU is number 10, but usually the RPI is pretty good. Get this, Jonathan, their record is 36-10 overall. They're 9-9 in the SEC, which means they've lost one non-conference game.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Completely believable considering how dominant SEC is in baseball, softball, and football. Basketball, too. I mean, just dominant.
Unbelievable. And, this year was the best year ever in basketball. Southern baseball is struggling. They got swept this past weekend against University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. They are 8th in the SWAC at just 7-11, and I told you they can pretty much score with anybody in the country, especially SWAC teams. But pitching has been very bad for them this year. They're just one game ahead of Mississippi Valley State, and guess who they play this weekend? Mississippi Valley State at home, and this is the final home series. So, again, Jonathan is in Zachary, Southern and Mississippi Valley State in North Baton Rouge over there on the campus of Southern, LSU baseball hosting Tennessee, and LSU softball hosting Florida. What a big weekend for baseball and softball here in the city of Baton Rouge.
Yep.
And don't forget the bowling tournament going on, which brings a lot of people in Baton Rouge for the World Congress of Bowling. But anyway, so Southern's going to have to beat 2 out of 3 of Mississippi Valley State because they're only one game ahead of them. And again, as I mentioned, the rest of the SWAC season for Southern, they're on the road. They're on the road. Only 8 teams make the tournament, which will be May 21st through 25th in Birmingham, Alabama. So it's senior weekend for LSU softball and senior weekend for Southern baseball, and they've got to do it this weekend. The season is already wearing out. The last few series that they have will be on the road. WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas drew 114% increase in viewers from last year and broke records in sales and social views. 124,694 fans attended the 2-day event. That New Orleans will pass that up. New Orleans, I think they get 74,000 in there. So New Orleans will have almost 150,000 fans. That was it this year in Allegiant Stadium. Next year it's in New Orleans for the third time in history that will tie Madison Square Garden. So we're on the level of Madison. I know Madison Square Garden has been a lot longer around the Superdome, but not much more. I mean, the Superdome's been 50 years, folks. And that shows you how iconic the Superdome is. It'll be the third time, and that's ties with Madison Square Garden. Those are the only 2 arenas that have hosted this event more. Now, New Orleans will tie with New York and Los Angeles. Anaheim had 1, so you really can say, but Anaheim is not as close as you think to L.A., but New York and Los Angeles hosted 3 times, the states, the city of New York and the city of L.A. and the city of New Orleans 3 times. But New Jersey has hosted it 4 times, and the first 2 were at Trump Tower, Trump Plaza. The state of Texas has only hosted it 2 times. Houston in 2009 and Arlington, shockingly, in 2016, which is still the largest attendance in that deal. This will be, again, the third time in 12 years it'll be in New Orleans, and it's a big economic impact for the city of New Orleans and puts New Orleans on the map. And speaking of that, the Zurich Classic will be this weekend in the city of New Orleans. And, again, hoping some good, fun days with that. We'll talk about the Zurich Classic next week. All right, that'll do it for us. Again, thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Marty, and all the crew. I'm Chris Powers saying so long, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers, on Pelican Sports TV.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson heads to the